Well, good day, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Safety Sense and More. And today we're honored to have a special guest, Ben Reynolds. He's an instructor with the Northwest Carpenters Training Northwest Carpenters Institute, which better is known as the Carpenters Training Center here in Washington. Ben and I met a few years back when I was still actively participating as an instructor. Now I'm just there as needed. But Ben has really become the guru for OSHA, fall protection and stuff, not only here in Washington, but at the International Training Center in Las Vegas. So without further ado, I thought we'd welcome Ben in. And the first question I have is, can you kind of enlighten everybody on this brand new idea of having an OSHA 30 class that's a virtual 8-day or 8-evening session?
Yeah, well, thanks again for inviting me here. Anything to do with safety and keep our members safe and learning, I want to be a part of. So, it's thank you for doing this. It's great that you guys are taking the extra step to make Alliance a top player in safety, and it's a real honor to be here. So, yeah, the OSHA 30 online. It's kind of an interesting thing. Zoom has the pandemic has introduced Zoom to a lot of people that don't understand or didn't know what Zoom was. And when the pandemic hit, everybody was scrambling to try to keep members and instructors to keep learning and keep moving the carpenters forward in this. And so the Carpenters International Training Center has the most OSHA 500 teachers out of any full union in the United States. And so a lot of their membership was coming due to redo their OSHA class, which happens every 4 years for an instructor. And so the really smart people down in Las Vegas, Nevada came up with a way to start presenting this online and presented it to OSHA. And we were actually the first international union to start teaching and get OSHA's blessing to start teaching online. And so over the period of the year and a half that we taught these classes online, we started thinking about what to do with members. And so a few of the training centers across the United States started doing the OSHA 30 classes online. And so we jumped on the bandwagon and helped out. And the great thing about an OSHA 30 online versus an OSHA 30 that you go and do computer, that you work directly with the computer, is you get so much more out of it. I've always been a big advocate of OSHA classes in person because you get the crosstalk, you get to learn about other people's what has happened to them in the field and how they powered through it and figured a safe way to do it and brainstormed together. And you hear these stories in an OSHA 30 that's live. And if you take an OSHA 30 that's a computer generated class, you don't get that. It's pretty boring. Everybody that I've talked to said these are the worst classes that you could ever take and you don't get anything out of them. So with the International's help and OSHA's CPWR is the person that is the organization that runs all of the OSHA classes for all the international trade unions across the United States and into Canada, started working on the concept of doing these member classes online, which now are up and running. And the great thing about them is we still get that crosstalk. We're able to, during these classes, we'll meet before the class, a few days before the class starts, and we'll make sure that everybody understands the basics of Zoom, how to mute your microphone, how to send things into the text box, how to grab a link from the text box and watch a video. It's pretty basic stuff that we can pretty much spend a little bit of time and teach everyone. And once we've accomplished that basic training, then OSHA allows us to move ahead with the class. And they're actually way funner than you think. We're going to break them into evening segments. We have the outline already drawn up. So if you're going to register for this class within a few weeks before the class starts, you'll see what topics we're going to talk about. And so it's kind of exciting that way. We'll meet, we'll introduce ourselves. It'll be like the Brady Bunch screen. We'll see everybody that's in the class. We'll all be together and on one screen, and we'll do introductions, and then we will start uh, 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 with the introduction to OSHA, talking about it. And with the Carpenters Training Center down in Las Vegas help, we were able to do a lot of teach back learning, which is really cool. We watch videos and we divide people into breakout rooms. So say we have 10 people in the class, we'll break people out in twos or threes and have them go discuss this topic. And then we'll come back together and we'll hear what other people's opinions are. So we still get the crosstalk. We're able to put videos in the chat box in a link, and you're able to click on that link and you're able to watch the video and come back and discuss the video with everyone. We're able to play some games on there. We are able to keep it super interactive so it's not boring at all. So we'll even throw in a couple guest speakers, and it's really great because Zoom doesn't limit us to where these guest speakers can come from. So we may be able to get someone from a different area or somebody that's an expert in what we're talking about. So we'll bring someone in maybe from MSA or one of the other manufacturers to talk about respirators. We'll bring somebody in from a fall protection company to spend 15, 20 minutes and answer current questions that are out there. So it's a really great thing. Yes, it isn't as great as being live, but it's really the second best. And the thing that we're finding is a lot of members are really wanting to do this. They don't have the time to sit down for 4 complete straight days or 2 Saturday and Sundays in a row, because it takes away from your, family time and your weekend time. And by doing it in the evenings for 4 to 4.5 to 5 hour segments, we're able to get a lot more members understanding OSHA and going out and helping keeping job sites safe. So.
Well, that's fantastic, Ben. And I'm really happy to say that we've already had quite a bit of interest. We have 15 people who have signed up for this upcoming one that you're going to be holding in March. So we're really excited about that. So I would love to have the link so I could bust in once in a while and just kind of observe what's going on, because
Absolutely.
this is new to me too. So, and then one other question I have for you is we do quite a bit of work with the Department of Defense, both at JBLM up at Whidbey Island and actually at the Everett home port, and now even EA, our sister company, has got some work coming up at the torpedo station at Keyport with the attack submarine station there. And as such, one of the requirements under the EM 385, which all the DoD be it the Naval Command facilities or Army Corps of Engineers, that's the document they follow. We have to have a competent person, fall protection, 24-hour person. I always cannot. It's so long, the term for that name of that position. So we have one person who has that within our company. That's Adam Showalter, and we sent him to an AGC class. But you told me we're going to be having one of these coming up, or several of these in the works right now, correct?
Yeah, and I'm really excited about this. And for those that know how motivated I am about fall protection, because fall protection kills more people in our industry than anything else out there. Falls from heights. There's on an average, there's a few people across the United States either being killed or going to the hospital on a daily basis. So fall protection is something that I take near and dear to the heart. Carpenters are always the first people up, right, working on the heights, and we have the challenge of trying to figure out how to protect these workers. And if you were to jump back 10 years ago, there'd be some circumstances where even I'd throw my hands up and go, I don't know how we're going to be tied off. And now with new companies and new different kinds of products out there, we're able to tie everybody off in any way. And so that's what's exciting. And with the new EM 385 standards, which is kind of traces back to the Army Corps of Engineers, is where this numbering system comes from. They've always been the lead in safety across the United States. It seems like if the Army Corps of Engineers is starting to put something forth that we have to follow, working on the naval bases and the military bases and that kind of thing, that it's going to follow suit in general construction on down the line. And so a little while back, about a year or so ago, the Army Corps of Engineers said, yep, we're going to start wanting to have somebody have a 24-hour competent person training. And if you've been around in construction, and this is something we do talk about a lot in OSHA 30, is how you become a competent person. And the first thing that you have to have a competent person to be a competent person is you have to understand what you're being competent in. And so in order to do that, the Army Corps of Engineers has said that you have to have 16 hours of classroom time and an additional 8 hours of hands-on training, which is, in my opinion, phenomenal. Because you get 16 hours gives you a really good understanding of how to follow the rules and work with a fall protection work plan and how to train your employees. And then the 8 hours of hands-on training gets you the training that you may not get. Like there's horizontal lifelines that are on the market now that, that you got to understand how to put up. And if you're a foreman or a assistant soup or a general soup in charge of this stuff, you need to make sure that the employees in the field are putting this stuff up the right way. So it makes total sense to have this. I'm very, very proud of the Carpenters Union. Unions in general are getting safe, but the Carpenters Union is leading the industry. And now any of the instructors that teach fall protection at any of the training centers across the United States have the ability to take a new 5-day fall protection training, which is full 40 hours of fall protection down in Las Vegas, Nevada, where we drill them with a couple days of training in the shops, where we put up fall protection. We actually destroy gear. We set up gear. We check each other's gear out to make sure it's set up the right way. And then we do 3 days of classroom training where we actually go over OSHA standards. We go over ANSI standards, which are having a great impact, helping keeping us safe, because OSHA is kind of a big wheel and it takes a lot to get OSHA going. And so the EM 385 standards are coming more from the military side and from ANSI rather than OSHA. So OSHA takes these new rules that ANSI and EM 385 have set out, and they're adopting them. So they are becoming laws. But we need to get this out to the general public, and so what happens is once you have the knowledge to be a competent person in the 24-hour training, if your employer thinks that you have the competence to be the competent person, then they can in turn deem you a competent person. But just so you don't get tricked on the internet anywhere, no one can make you a competent person except for your employer that works for. Because the most thing that's important about a competent person is being able to stop the work that's going on. And a class or a internet class can't give you that authority. Only your employer can. So don't get fooled by that. But the competent person training, yes, it's going to be 3 days, but you're going to come out with so much knowledge that you'll be able to help keep members safe and your brothers and sisters.
Well, that's perfect. And I talked to the coordinator at the Kent Training Center, Nate, and he said just to arrange this with you. And so since we do have several jobs coming up, both us and Elevated Acoustics, that are going to be on military installations, we only have one guy, and he's the foreman our foreman on one site at JBLM, but we have another job coming up on JBLM. And then we also, EA has a job coming up at, like I said, the Torpedo Station over at Keyport. So This is all good stuff. Are you going to be able to do the class? So is this all going to be 3 days in an office or a classroom or a shop, or is any of it going to be virtual? Or
At this point right now, because the class is so new and due to the pandemic, unfortunately, at the International Training Center, which is kind of initialed the ITC, we've only been able to conduct 3 of these classes down there because the pandemic, goes up and down,
right?
and they shut down the training center. So at this point, they haven't put the material together to do any of this online training yet. So as far as the International Training Center is concerned, it does have to be in-person classes, but we can break it up into any segments or size that we want. We could do it 3 consecutive days. We could do it a Saturday, Sunday, and then a Saturday, or whatever fits the needs of the team that needs it. But I'm honored to do it. We've had a few people in the Midwest that have taught the class now, that have came to the training center and taught it, and the people that have taken the class are just we've gotten so much great feedback saying that they didn't realize that there was the fall protection. It's like getting a new camera or a cell phone. You get this cell phone, and you finally figure out half of what how to work it, and here's a brand new one out there. So this is helping members understand that there's so much gear out there, and it's so technical now, and it has to be put up in the precise way. So it's a great class.
Well, that sounds great, Ben. So I really appreciate you stepping in this today and meeting with us this way virtually. But this is something that I started a little over a year ago doing, and this is our second season, and we've really ramped it up to where we're trying to produce a safety video about every 2 weeks or so. And we've been having kind of fun doing it. We're novices, but we're getting better. But you're our first outside guest.
Wow.
So,
well, thank you.
Yeah. So if there's anything else you want to add, go ahead.
Well, I just think it's great that Anderson, who is my full-time employer, and then I work kind of part-time for the International Training Center and the training centers here in Washington. I think it's great the combined effort that when you go to a job that Alliance is on with Anderson, we feel comfortable because of things that you're doing right now, because you're taking that extra step to make your company and your employees safe. We feel great working with a partnership with Alliance, and we hope to do more in the future. So thank you for having me.
Well, you're welcome, Ben, and we look forward to working with Anderson too. The Tulalip, so the Quilceda Creek Casino was a big job that we were partnered with you guys on, and which came out to be a fantastic facility. So yeah. So anyhow, well, thank you again for joining us. And
well, I wish I could stick around, but I'm going to go ahead and log out because unfortunately I have to do a Zoom class today. So
okay. Well, take care and have fun. And thanks again, Ben.
Thank you guys. You take care. Thank you, Jeff. Thank you, Paul.
Take care.
Well, have a
So Jeff, do you want to kind of just touch on the importance of training and some of the stuff that we have in the works right now?
Yeah, first off, I would like to say how I think it's really cool that we could take advantage of OSHA 30 class online, interactive through the Zoom, like with the technology that we have. I took one online personally, and it's really hard to take the test at the end and try to retain all that information where Ben's such an amazing instructor. Guys that are going to attend his OSHA 30 they're just going to walk away with so much, and that they're going to be relative to what they're doing in the field of work. So I think it's a great opportunity. I feel, and we had to make sure that everybody's certed up, has the qualifications. So when we go out to these job sites like Turner and Skanska's and the bigger name companies, that we have all your guys' certs. So it's really important that you guys take advantage of these opportunities, especially like OSHA 30. It makes our company look really good to the GCs.
Yeah, and so everybody understands too. We have a first aid class. It's almost filled up right now. I think we have 1 or 2 seats open. I'm arranging with the training center for more carpenters classes, and with the finishers training center, we're getting some more stuff set up with them. So I would encourage you all to stay tuned. And one thing that we found out over the last few days, that Facebook posts are okay, but doing a direct email to people that we don't have records of trainings is working to where we're filling up classes really fast. So I think that's the new approach we're using. We're going to use all these different approaches, including this forum too, on our Zoom Safety Sense and More videos. So anything else to add, Jeff?
Yeah, I can't stress enough, take advantage of these opportunities. I worked for different companies in the past that don't have your safety and experience as their main interest. And we really care about you guys. We want you guys to have all the trainings. Yeah, so just take advantage of it.
Yes, by all means. And guys, it makes you so much more employable. It really does. And some of these things have some expiration dates, but a lot of the trainings you get, once you have it, you have it. So it's in the book. So reach out to Jeff, reach out to me. We'll hook you up where we can. With that, I guess I'm good if you're good.
Yep, I'm great. Thank you, Paul.
So we'll call this a wrap on this one, and we'll see you guys on the next one. Thank you, and have a great and safe day.
Be safe out there, guys.
Goodbye.